There we go. We have a bunch of people that are going to be joining a little late. As you know, we have a lot of people are going to come in, including Cindy, Callie, and Roche, and some other folks are going to be joining us right now. They're having emergency work with the electricians. But that being said, I want to welcome everybody. Thank you all for joining. I am grateful that Mitch is here from Azamara. And tonight you get to learn all about the Azamara Cruise Line. And as you all know, Mitch kind of forced us to go on Azamara earlier this year in January. And it was such a traumatic experience that the day before we were supposed to leave, we ended up staying and going back to back again. And when I say in order for us to do that, that's a big deal because let's face it, we were on the ship already, I think 13 days, and then we
Right.
stayed for another 13. So without planning, it was everything we just continued to go. It was that amazing. So, or I should say, amazing, as they like to say,
Mhm.
right? So, that being said, I want to thank everybody for being here. I will be admitting people throughout the process, so don't freak out about that. And if you have any questions, by all means, you can throw it in the chat box. You can, raise a hand, whatever. But we are going to go through some of these because we do have some real special events that are planned. But guys, this is really the first time that you're hearing about Azamara from us. So, I mean, you saw the blog post. You know we're going to be virtuoso hosts. We want to let you know everything about this cruise line because I truly love this. And I will let you know, Tay, I know Christina's going to like this one, especially when you look at the size of the ship. So that being away, I let me hand it right on over to Mitch.
Alrighty. Well, thank you so much, Sean and Scott. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. So let me give you a little bit about background of Azamara. Azamara was actually born in 2007. There was a cruise line called Renaissance Cruise Lines. Renaissance had eight beautiful ships. They sailed around the world, but 9/11 happened and they went bankrupt. And these ships sat empty at shipyards around the world for several years. And in 2007, at the time, our parent company, Royal Caribbean Group, actually purchased two of the ships. And these two ships were originally going to be part of Celebrity's fleet. However, the decision was made at the 11th hour to create a standalone brand. So Azamar was actually born in 2007 as a two-ship operation. People often ask, how the heck did you come up with this name, Azamara? We actually morphed three words together. Akamar, which is the southernmost star you can see from the latitude of Greece, Azul for blue, and Mar for ocean. So that's how we came up with this name, Azamara. So we were a two-ship operation for several years. And finally, in 2018, we were able to get our third ship, and that became the Azamara Pursuit. It is a sister ship to our existing fleet. Well, we all know 2020 happened and we all went through COVID. Royal Caribbean needed cash and they sold us. We were actually sold in March of 2021 to a private equity firm. At first, I was very apprehensive about the sale, but shortly thereafter, I became very excited because within a week of the announcement of the sale, it was also announced that our new owners were actually purchasing our fourth ship. So, long story short, it took us 11 years under Royal Caribbean to get a third ship, 1 week under the new ownership to get a fourth ship, again, a sister ship to our existing fleet. So I'm very, very optimistic about the future outlook for Azamara. Our new owners have very deep pockets. It's a group out of New York City called Sycamore Partners, private equity firm, and they most recently actually purchased Walgreens. So again, very, very optimistic about the future of Azamara. But really what makes us unique and different is what we call destination immersion. And that simply means we've carefully crafted these incredible itineraries focusing on the ports of call. And what you're going to find with our itineraries is more ports of call, more port intensity, more time in port, coupled with more overnights and late night stays than any other cruise product. So we're probably your closest cruise experience to a land tour, yet we're much greater value and you don't have to live out of your suitcase. And so many of these wonderful destinations around the world typically you're I really transform from daytime to nighttime. And if you go into a specific place after dark, it goes, many places go through transformation and they go through a metamorphosis. And being there at night allows you to experience these wonderful places after dark. So, because all of our ships are 30,000 tons, and that equates to 700 guests and 408 crew members. So our staff to guest ratio is for every guest 1 point, I'm sorry, for every staff member 1.7 guests, which interprets to over the top service. But more importantly, the key takeaways are approximately 65% of the ports of call that we go to, you would never be able to go there on a mainstream cruise line because they can't fit. So this opens up so many more incredible destinations around the world. And then out of all the days we're sailing, over 50% of those days will feature a late night stay or an overnight stay. We define late night stay as 8 p.m. or later. And again, allowing you to experience these wonderful places after dark. I love to share this slide because this really kind of hits home exactly what I was talking about. This compares us to our competitive set. And the first column, you're going to see the percentage of late night stays. We beat everybody. But where we surpass everybody is the last column, which is the percentage of late nights and overnight stays. And again, out of all the days we're sailing, 50% of those days feature an overnight stay or a late night stay. So I want to ask you this one question. Would you like to spend more time in port? I can almost assure you 9 times out of 10, everybody's going to say absolutely. So thus, Azamara really is a great potential vacation option for you. We're also a tremendous value. We're more inclusive. So let me just highlight some of our major inclusions. Number one, we include your gratuities. Number two, we include your beverages. And my friends, by beverages, that is standard hard spirits are included. And that's anytime the bars are open. So it's not just for lunch and dinner. We also include a selection of beer, selection of wines by the glass. Soft drinks are complimentary. Bottled water is complimentary. Your specialty coffees and teas are complimentary. So if you want to have a cappuccino or latte, there's no charge for that. We also include what we call our Azamazing evening event. That is more than a shore excursion. It really is an authentic cultural event. At one of the destinations, we either overnight in or we have a late night departure. In addition, we include complimentary self-service laundry. And why I want to call that out is because many of our cruises tend to be longer. And the beautiful thing is you can do your own laundry on board. You don't have to pack another suitcase and incur the additional baggage fee. This is a beautiful example of one of our Azamazing evening events. This photograph was actually taken in Ephesus. Ephesus, the port of call for Ephesus is Kusadasi, Turkey. It has an amazing, interesting history. Ephesus was the eastern capital of the Roman Empire. So after the fall of Rome, Ephesus, the eastern portion of the Roman Empire, actually went through a renaissance and thrived. And Ephesus was its capital, whereas the western portion of the Roman Empire went through a drastic decline and went into the Dark Ages. The buildings in Ephesus are very well preserved. Now, Ephesus during the day is insanely crowded. It is closed to the public at night. So how we operate this Azamazing evening, in this specific example, our guests will have an early dinner on the ship. They'll get off the ship. We have motor coaches waiting for all 700 guests. They'll take that 15, 20-minute motor coach ride over to the entrance to Ephesus. They come out, unlock the gates for our Azamara guests, and you're able to stroll and meander through Ephesus at night without contending with thousands of other tourists. They're greeted with beverages and hors d'oeuvres. And then what we've done is a classical concert under the stars in the Odeon, which is the Roman amphitheater built in the first century. Now, because each of our cruises are unique and different, each cruise will have its own unique Azamazing evening event based upon the itinerary. The other thing that we do on every voyage is our white night party. So if you do sail with us, please pack a white outfit. How we operate this is we take away all the deck furniture, we set up tables and chairs, we dress everything out in white tablecloths, white draping, white balloons. We set up an incredible buffet. Our officers actually will serve the food. We serve lobster tail, rack of lamb, sushi, crepe Suzette, you name it. And then our singers, our dancers, our band perform, and it turns into a beautiful deck party with everybody dancing under the stars. Absolutely not to be missed. So for those of you who've not been on our ships, I'm going to walk you through some of the interior slides of our ships. This is our grand staircase. When you walk on our ships, what's really noticeable is you have the feeling like you're walking into a luxurious boutique hotel. The decor is very light, very contemporary, and very organic. The way these ships were built is 90% of our rooms are exterior facing. and approximately 90% of those have balconies. So the most common staterooms are actually going to be our veranda staterooms. There are 175 square feet of interior space and a 45 square foot balcony. We do have some incredible suite accommodations if you want something more spacious. This is our top tiered suite, the world's owner suite. It's 603 square feet with a 233 square foot wraparound balcony. When you move to a suite category, our guests are going to get more inclusions. They're going to get their own personal English style butler who will truly spoil them. And then, probably the best benefit, in my personal opinion, is unlimited specialty dining at no surcharge. Otherwise, if you're not in a suite, it is a $50 per person surcharge. Now, you do make the reservation for specialty dining when you get on the ship. We have these two beautiful spa suites on each of our ships. They're located in a private corridor adjacent to the spa. They have these beautiful spa bathrooms with a walk-in rain shower, and then beyond that, a soaking tub. And then our Club Continent suite are our entry-level suites. There are 266 square feet of space with a 60 square foot balcony. And this is the category where you begin to get the suite additional inclusions. Now, dining on Azamara, first of all, the food is exceptional. Our main dining room is Discoveries, which is typically open for breakfast and dinner. Discoveries is open seating, so you can eat when you want and with whom you want. It is also country club casual attire, no formal nights, no dress up. We have also several casual dining venues, including Windows, which is our buffet on deck, open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. By far, the best dinner I've ever had on any cruise line for a buffet. We theme it every night. So one night it may be Greek food, one night it may be Indian, one night it may be Italian. And it is, again, absolutely exceptional. So you can have food, you grab your food, and we also have a beautiful outdoor seating area in the back where you can eat al fresco if the weather is doing well. We also have complimentary 24-hour room service. So I can assure you, you will not go hungry on Azamara. And then we have two specialty dining rooms: our steakhouse, which is open for dinner, obviously, and Aquilina, which is our Italian restaurant, also open for dinner. It is reservations only. You make the reservations when you first get on the ship. If you're in a suite, it is complimentary. Otherwise, it is a $50 per person surcharge. And then for a ship our size, we really have incredible entertainment. We have our own singers and dancers. So we have our own production shows. We have our own orchestra. So if we don't have a production show going on, we'll have a guest performer. Or where we differ is if you're like me and we're in port at night, because quite often we are in port at night, I'm going to be off the ship and really exploring the destination after dark. So you don't have to be as glued to the daily programming as you would on traditional cruising, because traditional cruising, you're back on the ship every single evening. We also have a full service spa and fitness center. So all the food, all the beverages you're consuming, you can burn those calories out in our spa and fitness center. And all the spa treatments you desire, we offer as well. Now, where we truly differ are going to be our itineraries. So I'm just going to walk you through some of our itineraries so you have a greater understanding of really what makes us unique and special. This is one of our Spain intensive cruises from Lisbon, Portugal to Barcelona. And for many people, the highlight of this cruise is when we go to Seville. And it is over Holy Week as well. So an additional benefit. But newsflash, Seville is not on the coast. It actually is 60 miles inland. But because our ship is smaller, we actually can sail up the Guadalquivir River. It's around 60 miles, takes us around 6 hours, and we dock right in the heart of Seville. A 5-minute walk to the Plaza de España, and approximately a 15-minute walk to the cathedral and the historic Santa Cruz neighborhood. Other cruise ships, when they go to Seville, they're really going to be at Cadiz. Cadiz is on the Atlantic coast. It is approximately 1 hour, 40 minutes each way to and from Seville. And notice, we have a double overnight in Seville on this cruise. So again, 2 nights in Seville, which is going to allow you to really experience this wonderful destination after dark. This is another incredible itinerary that we offer from Lisbon, Portugal to Barcelona. A little bit different. We do go to Seville. We have one overnight in Seville, so you're there 2 full days. But we also go to Morocco on this cruise, going to both Casablanca and Tangiers, along with Gibraltar. I did want to share that video because it really, a picture is worth 1,000 words, and a video is worth, I guess, 1,000,000 words. So it really shows you that our ship actually can sail up the Guadalquivir River. And similar to that, this is one of our France intensive cruises. It begins in Bordeaux. But again, like Seville, Bordeaux is not on the coast. It actually is inland, and we sail approximately 80 miles down the Gironde River, and we dock right in the old city of Bordeaux. So you board the ship on Tuesday, and then we depart Bordeaux on Wednesday at 6 p.m. So you have 1.5 days to really experience Bordeaux. The ship is your hotel for that first night of the cruise. And this itinerary is really quite remarkable. Goes to Saint-Malo, which is one of my favorite places in Brittany. It goes to St. Peter's Port in Guernsey, goes to Cherbourg and Honfleur for the Normandy beaches. And we go to Rouen, which is the closest port for Paris. We overnight in Rouen as well. So you get to Rouen at 10:35 in the morning, and then we depart at 10:30 at night the following day. That allows you to get off the ship. If you want to go spend the night in Paris, you can do so and come back to the ship the next day. It really is quite remarkable. This is also another incredible itinerary from Portsmouth in the United Kingdom down to Lisbon. Again, going to Bordeaux. And what's very special about this cruise is that we have a double overnight in Bordeaux. And then we do northern Spain and Portugal, including Porto, and finally concluding in Lisbon. I do want to share this with you again, because so you have a greater understanding where Bordeaux is located. Again, 80 miles down the Gironde River. And then when we go to Rouen, we sail approximately 60 miles in the Seine, and we dock right in the heart of Rouen as well. I love our Italy intensive cruises. Now, what's very unique and special about Italy with Azamara is, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but we bypass Naples. Naples, in my opinion, is an ugly industrial town. Rather, we bring our guests directly to the Amalfi Coast. And as you can see on this itinerary, we go to Sorrento as a port of call. From Sorrento, easy access, 30-minute ferry ride over to the beautiful island of Capri. Easy access to Pompeii and Herculaneum, or if you want, take a scenic drive down the coast and go to have a wonderful lunch in Positano. Then we also go to Amalfi as a port of call, and then a couple places in Sicily, including Syracuse, which is absolutely stunning, and around the boot heel of Italy, going to Kotor, Montenegro, Ravenna, and then finally Venice. And the ship overnights in Venice for the last night of the cruise. So the ship is your hotel for that last night of the cruise as well. I love when we do Greece. We do a nice mixture of the marquee ports of call coupled with many of the hidden gems. And our Greece intensive cruises are all different. But I wanted to call this out because on this specific cruise, the marquee ports of call would include Santorini, Rhodes, and Mykonos. Notice we're in Santorini till 8:30 at night, and this itinerary takes place at the end of October. And why I want to call this out is because all the other cruise ships, you're waving goodbye to Santorini at 5 in the afternoon, and you're missing the most majestical sunset in the world to be seen from the iconic village of Ia in Santorini. And being there till 8:30 at night, you're going to be able to experience the sunset and not be rushed to get back to the ship as well. This is one of our Ireland intensive cruises. You board the ship in Dublin. The ship is your hotel for that first night of the cruise. And then when we go up to Belfast, you have another overnight in Belfast. So 2 full days up in Belfast as well. And we circumnavigate the beautiful Emerald Isle. And this is just a stunning Baltic cruise going from Copenhagen to Stockholm, but calling on Gdansk, Poland. And again, overnight in Gdansk, also going to Lithuania
You're
and
killing
Latvia.
me. You are absolutely killing me.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm like, oh my God, this is great. No, this one's great. No, this one's great.
Yeah. No, the itineraries are really quite stunning. But on this one is I did a similar itinerary last year for vacation, and I fell in love with Gdansk. Gdansk is absolutely remarkable. And we're also going to Estonia as well, and then overnight in Stockholm before you get off the ship. And if you want something a little bit different, we have this sailing from Copenhagen to Reykjavik, going to Gothenburg in Sweden, and then also going to a couple places in Norway before we go to the Faroe Islands, going to both Torshavn and Runavik. And then we go to Iceland with 2 stops in Reykjavik, in Iceland before we disembark in Reykjavik. We are bringing one of our ships back to North America in the fall, and we're doing some wonderful fall foliage cruises. So I do want to share this with you. This is from New York all the way to Montreal. And one thing I do want to point out is because our ship is smaller, we are actually able to sail all the way to Montreal. The big ships cannot. They can only go as far as Quebec City because of the bridge. And that's one of the advantages of sailing on Azamara. And then we have this beautiful itinerary from Montreal to New York as well in October of next year. We love to do cruises around world events and festivals. And every year we do the Monaco Grand Prix. We have this beautiful itinerary that will be corresponding with the Grand Prix in 2026, which will take place in June. We do sell tickets to the Grand Prix as a shore excursion. And then we have this beautiful British Isles cruise that coincides with the British Open. So if you happen to be an avid golfer, think about Azamara and perhaps consider going on one of our golf voyages. We have a partnership with a company called Perry Golf, and on select sailings, you can have a beautiful cruise with us, and then you can purchase an add-on Perry Golf package and play several rounds of golf at these world-renowned golf courses. Now, this cruise we do offer the Perry Golf add-on golf package, but it does correspond again with the British Open. And next year it will be the 154th British Open at the Royal Birkdale. We do sell tickets to the British Open as a shore excursion if you want to go see it as well. We have some remarkable Japan intensive cruises. And next year we actually have 6 of them. 4 will be in the springtime during cherry blossom season. And then we're going to also have 2 in the fall. Now, Japan is the quintessential country intensive voyage. It is a country of islands. Japan, if you ever do Japan by land, it is insanely expensive. Expensive for food, for lodging, and for transportation, making cruising really a great value. And we have 3 cruises next year that will coincide with the full solar eclipse in Europe, which will be taking place in August of next year. One will be, you'll be able to see it off the coast of Iceland, one off the coast of Ireland, and the other one off the coast of Spain. So if you're interested in experiencing the solar eclipse next year in Europe, perhaps you would consider one of these sailings. And this itinerary is going from Reykjavik to Montreal, going to Greenland. And again, it coincides with the solar eclipse. We are going to Greenland for the first time right now this year. We've never done Greenland before. We will be going to sailing in Greenland 4 full days. That includes 3 ports of call in Greenland, and then 1 day of cruising Prince Christian Sound. Then we make our way to the maritime region of Canada, down the St. Lawrence, concluding in Montreal. And then we have a sailing that goes back from Montreal back to Reykjavik. Here you go. Alrighty. During our winter and their summer, we will be in South Africa this coming winter. And we do offer some incredible itineraries. We have 1 South Africa round trip Cape Town. And then the other itineraries will be from Port Louis, Mauritius to Cape Town. So we are offering those specific itineraries. And in my personal opinion, Cape Town is probably the most beautiful city on this planet.
Mhm.
We also sail Australia, New Zealand during our winter and their summer. We have some incredible New Zealand intensive itineraries. And then we have this unique itinerary doing the southern coast of Australia, going from Sydney all the way to Singapore. And then our other ship during our winter and their summer does South America. And we have one sailing that actually goes to Antarctica. Now, because we're not an expedition ship, you literally will not be getting off the ship and touching your foot on Antarctica soil, but we do bring the ship in very close proximity to the land area. So you're going to be able to have some incredible viewing experiences from the comfort of being on the ship. And I'm excited to share with you, we are going back to Alaska in 2020. We've been away from Alaska since last time we were there was in 2019. Already. So think about Azamara to Alaska. A couple things I do want to add you to consider. Think about being there during the midnight sun, coupled with our late night stays. Now, we will not be having any overnight stays in Alaska, but we will be offering late night stays. So you're going to be able to experience these wonderful places late at night with the midnight sun. On all of our itineraries, we will be doing the Azamazing evening in Ketchikan, and we're going to be offering the Lumberjack show as our Azamazing evening in Ketchikan. But we're also going to places in the ports of call that not all the big ships go to. Our itineraries are going to be open jaw sailings from Whittier southbound to Vancouver, or Vancouver northbound to Whittier. We do have one sailing that is a round trip Vancouver. All of our itineraries, except for the round trip Vancouver, will include Hubbard Glacier for the glacier cabin experience. So that's something that is absolutely not to be missed. And then again, we're going to ports of call the big ships don't necessarily go to. So this is one of our itineraries from Whittier southbound to Vancouver. And notice here some of the places that we're going to. We're going to Valdez, Wrangell, Clawwalk, Nanaimo, and of course the usual suspects such as Ketchikan, and as well as Sitka, Icy Strait Point. And just a side note, Icy Strait Point has the world's longest zip line, and also probably the best place in Alaska for whale watching. And then we do offer this one trip round trip Vancouver itinerary as well in August of next year. And then going to Alaska and doing a cruise to Alaska is wonderful, but it is also a sin not to go and see the interior of Alaska, to go that distance and not go further explore. Because when you do a cruise to Alaska, you're really only seeing 20% of Alaska, and you're missing some of the most majestic views and vistas that are on Earth by going to Denali National Park. So do consider extending and doing one of our Alaska cruise tours. We do offer cruise tours 2 nighs and 4 nights. And then for our itineraries that begin or end in Vancouver, we are partnering with Rocky Mountain Air to go into the Canadian Rockies, and we're offering 5 and 6 nights packages as well with Rocky Mountain Air. Now, next winter, for the first time ever, we're keeping one of our ships in Europe. We've never done that before. Now, obviously, it's going to be the warmer parts of Europe, and we're excited about that. So we will be obviously in the Med, but we're also offering itineraries that will include both the Canary Islands, Morocco, as well as Egypt. So one thing that we have really focused on is destination immersion, and we have taken it to the next level by starting what we call destination immersion elevated. already. So what that means is number one, we've expanded the destinations that we offer, and on our itineraries, expanded our offerings as well. So next year and in 2027, we're going to be offering 28 double overnights in places such as Seville, Bordeaux, Hamilton, Bermuda, Edinburgh, and Bangkok, Ho Chi Minh City, Hong Kong, among others. We're going to 82 new ports of call. We've added 33 country intensive voyages. And in 2026, over 51% of the days we're sailing will include late nights and overnight stays. And then we're expanding our local cuisine with 150 new destination entrees. And on each sailing, we're going to be featuring our destination showcase buffet, which is going to be a buffet on deck, similar to the White Night Party, really focusing on locally sourced food and cuisine in the local area. And then we're expanding our onboard cultural engagements with 34 new Azamazing evenings, destination entertainment that's really going to be specialized, focusing on the place, the itinerary of the cruise you're at. And then we're elevating our excursions, including 246 new nighttime tours. So you're going to be able to tour at night. We own the night.
Mhm.
Already. So I'm going to throw this back to you and stop sharing and give it over to you, Sean and Scott, and let you take it away.
Yay! Thank you very much for that. Surprise, guys! We actually we're getting this technology thing down now, right? So first, feel free to like if you have any questions or anything, for the love of God, you can go ahead and ask. But we want to talk to you a little bit about some of what we have going on and some of these special itineraries that we picked out. And Mitch has actually talked about a few of them, but we also want to highlight a few things that he said. One of the things that one of the key points on board this ship was service. When we were on board, we were absolutely floored at the service on board the ship. I will tell you, you all know we've been on a lot of cruise lines and we travel a lot, but truthfully, literally within a day,
Within a day, it was hello, Mr. Scott. Hello, Mr. Sean.
it truly was impressive just how everybody knew everything and they knew you down to what they thought you were going to order and what you were going to drink, and then the next day they'd make recommendations based on what you ordered the night before.
Until I confused it, the server and bartender. So
That's because you ordered Grey Goose and vodka. That's the same thing. Okay, so but that was, that confused us all for a minute. But yes, but it was a wonderful experience to be able to be there. And the other thing is also how personable everybody on the ship was and how accessible everybody was. I think that for you, it was like when we got off of the shore
yeah,
excursion
the
the
first
first thing.
shore excursion that we got off on, you have the captain and all of upper management at the base waiting to make sure that you got to your right bus to go on your shore excursion. Now we were in South Africa, so some of these were at 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning, and they were out there. And what impressed me even more was when we came back, they were there again, welcome you back on board. I have never seen a captain on any other ship be there uh, when everyone's getting off the ship.
It was, and that the captain of the ship there is actually with us in that first picture on the top left. And I will tell you, it was truly impressive to see. We got down there, and he was making sure everybody got to where they needed to go. If there was a delay, he communicated all the time. It was just amazing. And if he saw you out and about in the ship, he stopped and talked to you.
Captain Dario.
Yep. And it really was an amazing experience. The other thing is you mentioned a little bit about the Azamazing evening. For us, the Azamazing evening was certainly a highlight. Anytime you have more than 7 days, I believe, at sea, they include this Azamazing evening. And for us, it just truly was special. They took us to the old ostrich feather hall. And then they had folks there from basically representations of all the different cultures in South Africa, and they came and they in traditional dress, and um, you get off, you get shipped in, or they bust us over to the ostrich hall. And when I say they bust us in,
It was like a 5 minute bus ride.
yeah, it was nothing. And the other thing I want to point out is when you're on these buses, you're not sitting like this.
No.
There, I mean, there was ample room for folks on board. They didn't pack the bus to such a degree that we wouldn't. It truly was just a completely different experience. But the other thing about that Azamazing evening, not only do you get that cultural immersion from the experience, but then when we went back to the ship,
They were out playing music and had champagne waiting for us when we got back on the ship from the event to get back on board. Now we had to board the motor coaches, I think at like 6 or 6:30 to get to the
right,
event. So everyone did lunch or dinner early that night.
right.
So when we got back about 9:30ish, they opened up windows and had light bites of snack food. And you all know on other cruise lines, when we want snack food, we want snack food. They had pizzas, they had mini sliders, they had French fries, they had chicken tenders, they had tacos, they had a nacho bar, they had fresh fruits, fresh salads, desserts.
And they had even bigger staples if you wanted them. But I mean, it was just amazing that you actually had that experience as you were going through it. It really was something different. And the other thing is, the food on board this ship was by far some of the best food I have ever had. That main dining room was truly spectacular. We did try all the specialty restaurants,
Mhm.
and they were great. And if you didn't, if you wanted to, you could buy a package of them. And if you bought the package, it brought it down to about $35 a person to go to those. But I will tell you that that main dining room was truly spectacular. And they were very good at customizing anything that you needed, or even if they didn't have it on the menu, but it was something you wanted. Like there was one day I was just like, hey, I really just wish we had carrots. Next thing you know, there were carrots on the table. And it was truly was just very, very impressive. So sorry to take so much time there to let
You,
you all
you
know
see our
that.
white night, or
Yeah.
I was amazed at white night.
Oh, and that was another thing. That was truly over the top. They bring in local talent a lot of times for the Azamazing, for the White Knight, who performs, and it really was spectacular. And then the dancing out under the stars, and the food on that night over the top. It really was amazing. It was something nobody left hungry. Let's put it that way.
That's exactly right.
So, and I know you're surprised for us to say that nobody left hungry. So let's talk a little bit about what we have going on with it. So first, as you all may or may not know, I think most of you know, we are actually going to be the Virtuoso Voyages hosts for the cruise out of Bridgetown to San Juan this year. It happens to be my birthday cruise. Surprise, surprise. And if you go on that cruise, there's a rumor you may actually go ahead and see Mitch on that cruise as well. There's a good shot he's on that one. Um, but so this again, what I love about this itinerary, we start off with Rihanna, right? Your
my
wife,
my wife,
yes,
My wife Rihanna in Bridgetown. She doesn't know it. I still went to her house, got on one knee, took pictures.
yeah. And then we're gonna get, but then what I also love is where we're going on these islands. It's gonna be a truly unique. These are great itineraries with unique things to do at every single port. The excursions that we have planned and some of the virtuoso benefits of this, truly outstanding. And then we end up in San Juan, so it is going to be an amazing experience. And that's just the week before Thanksgiving. Let's see, is it advancing for me even though I'm doing it? There we go. And then Mitch happened to mention Alaska. Well, we decided we were going to do it a little bit differently. You will notice that this pricing is actually per cabin. This is not per person. Okay, so we have things, and what I love about this itinerary, we start in Japan and then we end up in Alaska. And then of course you can add on the cruise tour excursions at the end. Truly spectacular. So again, any questions about this, you can check with us later, but this is just truly, truly an amazing experience. I can't think of a better way to do we do transatlantics. We just got off of a transatlantic. This is a trans-Pacific, and it's going to be truly over the top. Then, of course, we have next year the Southern Caribbean Cruise Thanksgiving. And as you know, this is one that we're actually teaming up a little bit with some folks and promoting basically a queer Thanksgiving that year. And we're going to be doing it on board. We start out in San Juan, we go to Bridgetown. It's almost the reverse of the other. But you know what? You have some of my favorite ports on here, and my absolute favorite in the Caribbean, Bequia. So we've already, and there we're going to have a special outing over at the Liming Resort. It is my literally I went there and said, "Oh my God, this must be heaven." It was absolutely an amazing place to be. We were truly blessed to have been there once before, and I cannot wait to go back. But the pricing that you're seeing here, I know what you're all thinking. That can't be right.
It is correct.
That is correct. Listen, this
And that
cruise
includes
line,
your alcohol.
that yes, and think of all the inclusions. I mean, the pricing is way out. I've never seen pricing this low, ever, on an Azamara cruise. Now, again, this is because this is our group pricing, but I truthfully, I expected this to be at least $1,500 more per person than it is. This is when I don't want them to ever recognize that this is underpriced. So, Mitch, you didn't hear that. And then we have our own Japan intensive next year. I really love the way
27,
Azamara
27.
Yeah, I said 27. I really love the way Azamara does the Japan intensive cruises. We were toying back and forth, and this is just an amazing itinerary. Starting out in Tokyo, look at every single city that we're hitting. We'll have to watch out for the zombies in Busan. I know you've all seen the movie Train to Busan, but there you go. But we can keep going. You're going to get, I really can't think of a better intensive voyage. And for Japan, I was so impressed with this itinerary when I saw it. I said, we've got to go. Because again, if you're going to go, you want to make sure it counts. You want to be able to go there because you don't know, it's expensive flights, things like that. You don't know when you're going to be able to go back. This is the way to go ahead and see Japan. It will be truly, truly, truly impressive. That being said, apparently I'm not hitting everything correctly, but that being said, I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and hey, let's answer some questions for folks. Am I still sharing, or did I stop? Did I stop sharing?
Yeah, you stopped.
Okay, good. Thank you, because I wasn't sure what I was doing anymore. So that being said, yay. Anybody have any questions? Shirley, I know you've got to have a bunch.
Hello. Yeah, we do. So we were on a Virgin cruise last year, right? So that was our first cruise really. Before that, I think I did a Carnival cruise, and really that doesn't count. It was with family. So we loved the Virgin cruise because we're foodies, right? And my husband is very picky with his food. Husband right here. So very picky with food, right? And I know you mentioned that they were, very good about bringing out other stuff. So you also mentioned one night's Indian, one night's this. Is it a big variety of food, or is it just chicken or just no? Okay.
So you have two different places. You have the main dining room, which has your menu. One side is always every night, this is what they're having.
It's kind of like the Staples night. Any night you go in, you know that you can have these things no matter what.
And they'll have fish, pescatarian friendly,
right
every night.
He doesn't eat fish though.
He eats fish. It's the only protein he'll eat.
Okay, got it. So yes, no, yeah, absolutely. But obviously we should let Mitch answer this too. But no, absolutely. Because there's it was important to me because when we went in there, the other side of the menu kind of rotates through, and so there will be if it kind of reflects, and a lot of times these menus really reflect the ports where we are.
Okay.
It's really kind of neat because they do bring a lot of that local. Again, it's this cruise line excels at cultural immersion, in my opinion.
Okay.
I'm all about that. And in terms of, to give you an idea, even at the barbecues, like when they do sail away barbecues and things like that, there was grilled fish at every single one of those. And that was, I was shocked. And the white night when they say they do a barbecue. This is not like I feel like we're downgrading what they did because we're calling it barbecue. It was nothing like what I've seen. I mean, they were grilling lobster tails.
They were grilling lobster tails. They were grilling steaks. They were grilling lamb chops. They
And
had
then
sushi
they had fresh
stations.
sushi and sashimi. They had both at a station. Yeah, I mean, I was
It's all included in the price?
yes.
Okay.
I know, right? Right. So the specialty restaurants, there's two of them on board. There's one Italian one and there's one steakhouse. So he's not going to go to the steakhouse. But the
Right.
thing, right? But if you wanted to do those, you can do those restaurants. Again, if you didn't buy a package, it was around $50, I think, per person if you wanted it. But in all honesty, we bought the two meal package, I think, so we could try one of each, and it was like $35. But even if you went to the steakhouse, guess what? They also have fish.
Okay.
There was
And if I don't go to the specialty restaurants, I'm still like not missing out on like good quality food.
No, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to say something here that is not going to make me popular at the moment, but I actually loved the main dining room. And the second sailing, I don't think we even went to the specialty restaurants on that back-to-back on the second sailing. We might have gone once.
We went twice.
We went twice, well, one to each, right?
Mhm.
Okay, so
Over 13
over
days.
13 days, we did 2 dinners out of 13 days at the specialty on the second sailing. That main dining room is amazing. And I really, this is also an incredibly friendly cruise line, and it's a very LGBTQ friendly cruise line too. So what was great is we were going with people that we had just met on the cruise.
Okay.
Dinner, like you can just show up at dinner and be like, hey, I want a table for 2, or no, I want a table for 8, and you would get it. Okay. Worst case scenario, you waited 5-10 minutes maybe, but they have it set up so there's actually a bar and a seating area with like couches and everything outside right in that dining room. So you can go sit. So if you were waiting, go get a glass of champagne. I mean, everything's included. So go get, and that was the other thing that was truly impressive. But that main dining room, let me tell you, if there was anything that you didn't want, or if there was something even that they didn't like, they literally did not have carrots on the menu, and I asked for carrots and I got carrots. Now, I guess I should let Mitch answer this question. And Mitch, when you answer this question, also there's a follow-up from we have a text question here about whether or not you can accommodate vegan.
Yes, of course, we can accommodate vegan. In fact, when I went on vacation last year, one of my friends who was traveling with me, she's not only vegan, but she's also gluten-free. And they went over the top to accommodate her dietary restrictions.
Wow. Do you tell her she shouldn't be so difficult?
Exactly.
That's it. And Mitch, I'm going to give a quick question, another text. If they get, with all of these bookings, especially the Virtuosa ones and the group bookings, there's on a certain onboard credit offer that's going on. When they get the onboard credit, do they have to, if they want to buy shore excursions and things like that, do they have to wait to get on board the ship to utilize that onboard credit, or can it be applied before they get on board the ship?
Typically, it can be certain things can be applied before they get on the ship. So you can use that money towards shore excursions in advance.
That's amazing. And if they're doing it on the ship, can they use it towards, if they have onboard credit on the ship, can they use it towards like an alcohol upgrade or something like that if they wanted it?
Absolutely. You can use it towards anything: gift shop purchases, shore excursions, upgrade liquor packages, especially dining packages, spa treatments, you name it.
And I want to let everybody know, I know you're going to be surprised to hear this. Not me, but Scott, he's a little bougie. I know everybody's surprised to hear that, right? It's not me. It's just all Scott. But the thing is, when Scott, we were in an ocean view on the second sailing, because that was the only room left. And we were in a veranda on the first one, a balcony on the first one. Balcony was amazing. That ocean view was the same size as it really was the same size as what we were in. And we were actually content. Like we were fine. We actually enjoyed it. So I do want to let people know I was very impressed with the size of the rooms. We have videos up of all of those on the YouTube channel. So that way, you know.
How big are the windows of the ocean view?
On the ocean view, it was a big, long rectangular one. I'll shoot you the video that we took of it. It was more than fine. Okay. So I am going to let you
Mhm.
know there are times that I don't always recommend a balcony, right? There are, and especially like the transatlantic. If you want to freeze your butt off, go right ahead. But the ocean view was actually quite nice. I really enjoyed the ocean view. I actually liked the ocean view also because of the location of where it was on board the ship. It was fantastic. Um, Shirley, you got one? You got a question?
Do we have more questions? No, I don't think so.
Can you come up with something? No. So then the next thing is next phone it in question. I'm reading my page here. We have because Callie's been trying to log in. It keeps making her give different codes and it's not letting her in for some reason. There are meetups on the ship that we discussed earlier. So that we have how about single sailors? Are there activities for them? And I can answer when we were there's every other day, I believe, on board the ship is a single sailors meetup. On the days that there is not a single sailors meetup, there's a legitimate LGBTQIA plus meetup. So and that takes place. That was on where we were. It was upstairs in the den,
The living room.
the living room. Yes.
We have one in the living room, one in the den. I think there was a mistake on one. That's
There
what-
was because
they
it
were
was a
going
double,
back and forth.
Yeah, there was a double book one night for something.
Yeah.
So, but I want to let you know. So there are meetups on board the ship for either community, and they are actually pretty well attended, which surprised me. I mean, it was really good, and it's so welcoming that actually the assistant cruise director one night hosted on each sailing at least once per sailing. She hosted the LGBTQ on the first sailing. We had a different assistant cruise director. But they both hosted the LGBTQIA group for
And
dinner.
single sailors.
And the single sailors. They hosted the dinners for those groups. So it was really nice because then we suddenly all went to the dining room and suddenly got one of these big tables for everybody. And again, that's also an example of how flexible they are in the dining room. You didn't have to, you go when you want to eat, and it was pretty amazing. Mitch, do you want to comment on the nightlife?
Yeah, I mean, here's the beautiful thing about it. We have, again, incredible entertainment on board. We have, there's always something to do at night. At the living room, we have our quartet, which is a small ensemble that will play for like pre-dinner dancing and cocktails, after dinner dancing and cocktails, and then around 10 o'clock, it turns into a nightclub with our DJ playing music and people dancing to the wee hours of the morning. So every night's a different thing. One night it may be 70s night, another night it'll be ABBA night, another night maybe 90s night. I mean, there's always something going on. But again, where we differ is quite often we're in port at night. So you don't have to be as reliant on the programming on the ship as you would on other cruise lines because they have you captive. So with us, if we're in port at night, me personally, I'm going to be enjoying the nightlife off the ship. So it gives you a lot more flexibility.
What I loved was the living room during that night was ABBA night.
Yeah.
That dance floor was packed.
There may be video of me.
It was
And Valerie.
packed. And I love the way that Azamara does it. You have the living room, you have the den, you have the drawing room with the library area. So there's so many little areas.
And there's just a lot of areas that you can go and actually do work that you can go and actually just really enjoy, and they're all kind of very intimate, and the living room is really cool because it is like a living room. There are couches in there, there are big comfy chairs in there, there's all types of stuff, and then in the middle of that you have this, and then you have a disco floor, then you have the disco
But it's
taking place in
so
there.
you're looking out.
Yeah. Oh, and the views were spectacular. Actually, one of the pictures that we put up was us clinking a champagne glass. That was actually on the side of the living room. So to give you an idea, it truly was amazing. And then what's funny is, so not only did the band come out and start playing all these songs at the nightclub, but then when the band goes down, when the band's done, the DJ comes out. I could not believe the number of activities on board this ship.
But then there's also things going on in the den. There's a guy playing the piano. There's other people doing other things down there.
They have a vocalist down there that will play the piano, and he was amazing. And then the other thing that's really neat is when you're going to these places, a lot of the cruise lines will have like a destination expert in there. And it feels like the way that they do it, it almost feels like you went to school and you're getting a lecture. That's not what Azamara does. So if you want to go ahead and they have cultural experts on board about the ports that you're going to. And these are talks. And when I say talks, they're really conversations where suddenly the people will come up and they'll be presenting and talking about what we could expect to see the next day when we get to the port. And you don't have to go to these, but they were truly great. I mean, there were some really good workshops on board that ship. They even have a workshop on how to use your phone to take pictures.
Right.
Like when we were about to go before and go on safari. So those were really crucial to me about how. But those talks that they did, what was also neat is they came in, they did a talk, and but it was more like a conversation. It was free flowing. You learned a lot about the destination, and they would tell you, hey, and for those of you who don't know where you want to go or haven't booked a shore excursion, here's some ideas for what you can do the next day. Truly special. And then they made themselves available later in the day. They would say, hey, I'm going to be at coffee at 4 o'clock over here if you want to come join me or have any more questions. And you could go and talk to them and learn even more about stuff. It truly was special. And they want you to really enjoy those ports and know them to such a degree that when we got to our room, would you believe they had maps for us for every single location that we were going to? And they had suggestions and itineraries for every single location that was waiting for us in our room. It's just a completely different level of service than what a lot of folks are used to.
Sean, I hate to do this, but are there any other questions for me? Because I do have to
Yes.
have to leave.
Yep. No problem. Does anybody have anything else? Shirley?
I have some questions, but it could be to you.
Okay. You want to ask him fast before he goes?
Yeah, sure. So one, is there a casino on board?
There is no casino, and the reason is because we're in port quite often at night. So the casinos can only be open while we're in international waters. So we used to have them. We did away with them, and we expanded the area to now the Den.
You're done. Okay, awesome. Second question, is there a lot of kids on board?
Kids are welcome to sail with us. We just don't entertain them. So as a result, you're going to find very few children on board. And the ones that you do find are going to be very engaged with their parents.
Okay, perfect. And then my last question, I was thinking of sailing with my father. He does AA, and I know some cruise ships
Yes.
do like meetups with AA. Do you have?
We also have friends of Bill W. Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, those are all my questions. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Shirley.
Thanks, Mitch. Thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Thank you so much. And you guys take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye. But again, I will say this, that itinerary is packed. There's a Friends of Bill W meeting at least once a day.
Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also, what I love too was because alcohol is included, but in the bar menu, it would show you what all was included in your alcohol. So you knew.
Exactly.
And you still had name brands.
Oh,
It
yeah.
wasn't like the
No.
bottom of the stuff.
No. So I will tell you, we upgraded our alcohol package on the first voyage. I will never, Sean speaking here, and you all know Scott can be bougie, so I have to watch what I say. But yeah, no, I did not, I would never upgrade it again. And the reason is because it really was like the first 2 days, we didn't even know we weren't drinking off the premium, off of our upgraded plan. We were drinking what everybody else was drinking. And it was because, I mean, they were name brands. It was like
Grey Goose was the upgraded, but
no,
Kettle
that
One,
wasn't. It wasn't upgraded. That was the thing. They were making fun of us because we thought we were drinking off the plan. And I'm like, no, it was like the regular. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, forget it. You know.
But there's food always somewhere available. And he didn't even talk about the patio.
No. Oh, that's what I want. That's why I wrote patio down. I didn't know why I wrote it. So one of the other options, besides having the main dining room and having the buffet, outside the buffet, there's a grill, the patio grill. And at lunch, it's kind of the tradition. It's by the pool and stuff. So at lunch, it's kind of like you'll have fried. They'll grill fish. They'll grill chicken or turkey. They'll grill all types of different things up there for you. But at night, it has its own dinner menu, which is unique to it. It even does seafood bakes.
Mm-hmm.
I was so impressed, and that's all included. Again, another included restaurant.
Right.
It was that.
But then, like when the living room, you go like mid-afternoon, say
Tea.
2 to 4. They had you where you'd have high tea. They would have sandwiches,
Scones,
and
everything.
scones and desserts out for high tea. And about 4:30, they'd come and say, "Okay, we're going to take it out." In 30 more minutes, there'd be more food out.
Yeah,
So, I
it
mean,
would be different types of food, little snacks, food up, and other things that were there. And it
but
was
like the coffee place always had food at it, had sandwiches or desserts always.
And can we address the 24/7 room service that was 24/7 room service? And if you wanted to have the dining room meal in your room for dinner, no problem. Just tell them what you want off the dining room menu. They're going to bring that to you. It was completely free. There was no delivery charge, nothing.
Another great thing, and what I love what they did was in your TV,
As you can tell, we hated this cruise.
yeah, on the TV every day they would show you what is on the main dining room for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner. So that way you could sort of plan your day as well. So like, and they did have themed nights. We went to the buffet on Greek night. Oh my gosh, it was so good. They were grilling heroes. They had spanakopita. What else did they have? They
They
had
had everything. But Scott mentioned them. They do at night when the performers are done at the last shift. The cruise director and the assistant cruise director go and film a show for the next day. And they literally film a little like 20-30 minute show for the next morning. And when you get up in the morning, you can turn your TV on and watch that show, and it will tell you all the things that are taking place, that all the different activities and everything that's going on that next day, in addition to getting a lovely little brochure and what have you. And they're really good at reacting on the fly, because when you're a smaller cruise ship and you're going into some of these local ports, actually, it doesn't even matter if you're a smaller cruise ship. We've all been on the cruise ships where you suddenly couldn't get to port because it was too windy. And so you're going to be delayed. They then adjusted on the fly and created entire shows for everybody. They literally created shows and went and put them on. And you wouldn't realize that they were created minutes beforehand. So that way there were activities for the day. So it was, again, great experience. All right. So I can wrap up. But if anybody has anything else, please shout it out. Feel free. If anybody's got to go, hop off. We understand. I just want to make sure that we answer everything. And then we will be posting this online, provided I did everything correctly.
But we've got those 26 and 27. We got 25, 26, and 27. We're looking at more 27s, and we'll start looking at 28. So I actually love this. I mean, 700 people, it never was felt packed.
No, it's really nice. The crew, you get to know the crew, you get to know the folks that are on board the ship, you form actual relationships. There's some folks that we're still talking to via Instagram and stuff like that.
And they know
Great
you.
folks, and they know you. And you never feel like you're just one of like the flock that's on there. You always felt that it was very customized for you. They literally would know your name after a day.
That's it.
So that was it. Anybody got anything? No. Fine, be that way.
Okay. I think we can probably stop recording.
Yes, we can probably hit stop record. And then when I hit that, I'll let you